realized when I started, I was like, I'm not really passionate about it, but I know I see the goal. I know where I want it to go. And I was just like, and I was talking to Alex. I was like, Alex, like it's hard for me to write, but it's
Shout
so
out to Alex. Shout
shout
out
out
to
to
Alex.
Alex. Tell
Shout
him
out to
I
Alex.
love it.
Shout out to my day one producer.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is the hardest thing ever. Like I was like, I don't know if I can like, I just don't know. And then Alex was like, well, maybe you should just get a writer's room to help you bounce ideas off and somebody that actually know how to write, somebody can work well with you. I was like, what? And because I was so secretive with the project, I was scared to be like trusting other people to know about
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
was thinking. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah,
then, like, just go for it. You know, I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up going on TikTok and I called for writers. I was like, hey, look, I
baby.
am
I
producing.
saw that, and that TikTok went a little. That got us some traction, baby. It got some
I was surprised.
traction.
People were like DMing me on Instagram, like, hey, I just saw your TikTok video. Yes, like I'm ready to work. I want to collab with other Black artists. Let's go. Da, da, da. And I was like, whoa, like this is insane. I did not know I was gonna get the response. And I remember posting on my story, like, hey, I'm looking for writers. And friends that I didn't even know were writers were hitting me up like bad. And so after that happened, I got everybody's number. I sent them out a writer's questionnaire. And I think in the questionnaire said something like, you know, what is your writing style? What are you watching currently? How do you collaborate with others? Like it just to get to know them, and I asked them to send me like, you know, examples of like their work. And then from there, like I was reading, I was like, okay, I like they have a voice. I see they have a voice in how they write. And then I got on the phone with each one of them and I would tell them the idea. And I was gauging if the person automatically wants to give ideas, if there's something in their body like spark, like, oh no, I love this idea. And then that's how I
Right.
went about choosing who are my writers, because I'm like, it's no point in me using writers that are not passionate about or don't feel the story. You know what I'm saying? But then I found the ones that were like, oh my gosh, and I can see this and I can see that. And that's when I was like, okay, I know who I want to get. And that's literally how it happened. And I ended up splitting it up. So like you said, I have two writers room, y'all. One is working on the show. I'm working on a TV show. I'm producing a TV show, showrunning the TV show, and then I am working on a feature film. So yeah,
Wow.
so I have 8
I
writers in the college show and 2 in the feature film. Yeah.
wow. She's bigger than me now, y'all. She's bigger than me.
Nah, nah.
I love it. I love it. I love that. I mean, it's so organic. I mean, when I chose my writer's room, baby, we did a whole social media campaign, child. We went through the SCAD writing department. We went through so many levels just to find six, four, or five to six great minds. And the funny thing was they were all sitting in my classes. It was I had classes with them,
Yeah.
and that's how I built my writers room. But yours is very organic. I love the usage of using social media to your advantage and using your influence to your advantage to get what you need. And I remember we off off the record we had a conversation a couple weeks or a week ago, and she called me. She said, "Hey, do you have a moment?" I was like, "Yeah, girl, what's up? I have ample amount of time for you." But she was like, "I want to tell you this," and she told me about the writers' room, and I was like, "So when's your first meeting?" And she was like, "Tomorrow," and I was like, "What?" Okay, like, do you need help? What do you need? And I was like, and she was like, "Yeah,
How's it
love
work?
supporters. How does it work?" And I was like, okay, like I just gave her a real 360, like quick
Class.
master class of how I would run that structure of a room. And it was, I mean, I it's going well, I assume. It's going great. And it's gonna take time. I think that's the beauty about a writer's room. It's you may go in there one day and everybody's guns blazing. It may
Yeah.
be da, 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 idea,
Yeah.
idea, 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 idea. But then you may go in there and it's kind of like, well, only one person's throwing a dot and a dart, and it's kind of just, and everyone else is just kind of like feeding into what that is. It's not everyone's throwing out individual ideas, but it's kind of building and incorporating on one sole idea
Mm.
that everyone's agreeing upon and everything. But one thing that Andre told me literally yesterday, and I've been telling my team this. It's like when it's your baby,
Yeah.
and you find people that love your baby just as much as you do, it becomes communal. And well, I just quoted myself. That's crazy. I say that in the documentary. I say that in the Exposed documentary. But it's a true factor, when you find people that love your passion or whatever you're building, your project as much as you do, it does become communal.